Good morning and happy Can't Stop, Won't Stop Wednesday. It is just myself today. Lovely wife is taking a class, so she has some continuing education to take care of for the state of Montana for her sponsoring broker license. And it'll be just myself today as we go live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and a touch on Facebook. Interesting. We'll see how that one all works out. Today's episode 632 of This and That on Acquisto Real Estate TV. Thank you guys for joining us. It is a great time to go ahead with roll call. So if you are present, go ahead and put your name in and let us know you're here. If you're a first-time viewer, awesome. Thanks for watching. We'd like to know who you are. Chat your name in, reach out. If you have some topics that you think we should cover, just hand them on over. Send them directly to me. I'm Mike at AcquistoRealEstate.com. And you can go ahead and reach me, and I'll fully address any of those topics we can first thing in the morning for you the next day, if possible, if we already haven't covered it. We have tons of stuff already cataloged, right? So remember, everybody, if you have a question real estate related, just type it right in there, and you'll get your results back if we have already covered it. If not, we want to definitely cover it for you, so we will do that. We do have 3 topics for you today. Topic number 1 that we're going to have is going to be the mentoring program for new agents. We're going to go over and describe that a little bit more detail and answer some questions that you have there. People have been clamoring for some answers on items, and we'll make sure that everybody gets them all at once. It's company internal type stuff that we're talking about, so we will cover that as our first topic. Topic number 2, I'm going to get a little sentimental, and I'm going to remember when you did your first transaction. So we're going to kind of discuss that, and we're going to go through the highs and the lows and all of that for your first transaction, and we'll get a touch sentimental as we kind of talk through it and congratulate some people on some accomplishments there. And support family is going to be topic number 3. We're going over that today on our weekly workshop. We're going to be addressing the concierge service. So I want to make sure that you're ready for that. We have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so this is kind of a prep for that, so you come to the meeting with all the right information. So it's actually not a meeting, it's a web workshop. So that implies that you're going to be doing some work, some thinking, and getting some accomplishments from what we're doing today together. We will have our real estate word of the day, and that is fixture. Fixture. Kind of sounds like a weird word when you say that one, fixture. Thanks for joining us, guys. That's going to be good. We will have some interaction today, so make sure that you have your device handy and you can chat in and go ahead and type in some stuff and respond when we have some questions. I want a lot of good interaction today. Thank you, guys. I think we are ready to go. Hey there, it's just me today, Mike Acquisto with Acquisto Real Estate. We're going over our mentoring program here at Acquisto Real Estate, what it is, answering some common questions for you. We're going to tell you how it works, what kind of goes on with commissions, how it's on a case-by-case basis for each person, and a lot of it has to do with availability and fit, as well as transaction type. So we're going to discuss all of those things and more. So I hope you're excited about that. The concept of the mentoring program, ladies and gentlemen, is that there are new agents and there are experienced agents, 2 different types, right? And we want to make sure that we give all of the help and support that we possibly can to anyone that is new and or just starting and not considered experienced based on our commission agreements. So what we're trying to do is match them with an experienced person that has been here working with us for a while, that understands the way real estate's done, what we're looking for, that knows the ins and the outs of our brokerage, and has kind of had the experience to kind of go along with that. So in this matchup, this is a thing that we're trying to do on a case-by-case basis. It does not mean that it has to be the same person in perpetuity as we're going through it. We have tons of different agents. We have tons of different personalities. And we actually do think that it's really good for you to have different experiences. With those different experiences, you learn many different items, right? So we're not keeping to the requirement that it has to be the same person all the time. In fact, I think it's good to have that variety there. So that's how it works in general. If you have any questions and you're a newer agent, then what happens is Shana will be assigning and coordinating that for you to make sure that you have somebody set up to be able to assist you to answer all of your questions. So if anything comes up along the way, they're going to be the person that's reviewing the contract. They're going to be the person that's helping you out before you submit it. They're going to be answering the questions like, hey, I don't know how to log in here. Hey, where do I find this? How do I get that? What's the next step? What do I have to plan on? Do I have all the documents? Could we review this together? Should I check box 1 or box 2? What does this really mean? Where's the title company? How do I get the money to them? How do I upload this document to Stacy? All of those types of things are questions that go directly to your mentor, and they'll be helping walking through that. Now, from the mentor standpoint, I believe that it is a really good program that you can learn quite a bit from, because as you teach, you also learn yourself. You take the time to kind of slow down and understand what's going on. So you're trying to pass on a piece of you and the things that you have learned to them. So it's kind of a pretty cool program in that regard. Then as far as compensation goes, compensation you'll receive as a mentor directly from the brokerage. So we're going to be compensating you as the mentor from our piece of the transaction. It does not affect the agent that is working on the file directly as the newer agent. It doesn't affect them, their compensation one bit whatsoever. It does come directly from our portion as you are helping them. So I hope that answers some of the compensation questions. Then there's, as we're looking at it, there's many different types of transactions, right? So we might have a first-time home buyer or somebody that's starting out on a web consult versus an in-person. We might have an agent that is better at that type of transaction than another. So in that particular circumstance, we want to make sure that you have the best possible experience. So we might place you with an agent who is better and has had more proven success with a web consult if that's how we're initially starting this, if we're not sure how it's going to exactly go. Then we might have a different transaction that might require a lot of documentation. Maybe a person is getting divorced and there's a lot of stickiness in the situation, so we would go over something like that with an agent who has experience there. It's possible that the transaction has something else, like maybe it has a referral agreement or a relocation component to it. Maybe it has a certain location, maybe it has a certain price point, maybe it's a new home, maybe it's a pre-existing. There's a lot of different components. So with that, we want you to have the opportunity to learn from many different people and share their collective experiences, right? There's also people that are really good in Zoho. So it's possible that we want to have you have the experience of working with somebody who is really good with our software. And in that, you'll continue to learn something different from each person. So if you see that you have a hole in something that you would like to learn, then that is a point that maybe you share with Shana when she's trying to assign the mentor, and you discuss that with you. Now, Shana is going to carefully consider the workflow of the other person, because what we often have to find out is the person has to have enough time to walk through, to guide, to train, to do each of those items. So their workflow has to kind of be down just a little bit, or at least not at full capacity, right? So what we're going to do is find out that person that is the best fit based on learning and the best fit based on their current availability, right? So if the person's currently on vacation, not a great place to start as a mentor, right? So we would probably find somebody who is available and who is present to be able to help you out in person. Somebody maybe who lives close to you, right? Those are all different things that would be important. So I hope that answers some of your questions about mentoring. If you have any other questions about it, then please go ahead and chat them in, or if you feel that you kind of understand it, then also chat that in and let me know that you're at least understanding what's going on there. So I think we kind of covered that item, the commission again, directly from us. If you are available, then we can do it. If you would like to be considered for, then please go ahead and send that in as well. That's something that Shana will coordinate, and it is your job to continue to help that new agent with their learning process, right? So as we finish up this topic, Omkar, I probably have about 5 seconds left here. You can go ahead with your next topic, get that ready, and go ahead and start whatever you would like to. So that's your 5-second warning here, and then we'll hit the bell and move on. Howdy there, this is Mike Acquisto, real estate broker and co-owner with Acquisto Real Estate. Good morning. This is Acquisto Real Estate TV, this and that. This is episode 632 and our second topic of the day. We are remembering when you did your first transaction as an agent. And I'm not going to tear up, but maybe you will. Maybe we'll discuss as we'll reminisce, we'll kind of talk through some of the things that had happened. We'll reflect, talk about the excitement, talk about agents that are currently having their first transaction, talk about how I feel now that I look back on other agents that started with us. I think about their personal first transaction, right? I think about our first transaction that we had. And it's impressive. It's impressive to see where you're currently at and where we're headed towards, right? We'll talk about the friendship division and how I'm consistently learning, and so is Katie, and so is Shana. We're pushing ourselves every day to create new transactions with our friendship division and what that's kind of like and how joyful it is to create a first transaction from one of those spheres, right? And we'll also talk about how new skills all the time help you continue to develop things where it feels like it's, again, your first transaction in this different type of atmosphere, right? Maybe it's a different type. Maybe it's the first time doing a ranch or a farm and ranch transaction or just land. And those are just new and different things. And you kind of feel those butterflies again. So let's kind of start at the top here and discuss it. So as we kind of reflect on that, I remember our first transaction. And our first transaction came as a result of walking, and it was probably about 100 degrees out in the middle of the summer, and walking through our neighborhood and knocking on a door. And we started this, and I'm like, are we really doing this? And I'm like, every journey starts with the first step. And so we open the door and we step out with the left foot, and then the right foot, and then the left foot again. And then all of a sudden we realize, oh my gosh, it's really hot out here. And then your heart kind of sinks and you're like, I'm knocking on a door. And then you have this feeling in the pit of your stomach and you're like, is this really happening? Like, I'm going to actually go up and knock on somebody's door and say something? Like, now I'm a solicitor? And you feel this and you're like, ugh. And I don't know if it's demoralizing or it's character building or what it is, but every journey kind of starts with that one first step. And that's an example of how ours started. And I have no idea, but we knock on a dozen doors. And then all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, glad you're here today. And I'm like, what? Is that for real? I came and knocked on your door, and now you're like, yeah, let's do something. And that's something I really won't forget. I'm like, oh my gosh. And we go home and we talk through it, and then we get a transaction going, and that was like number one. Transaction number one came from like knocking on a door. And imagine that somebody's like, yeah, totally cool. I live on the same street as you. Yes, let's do something. And I'm like, whoa. So that was mine and Shauna's first transaction in real estate in the market, right? So you kind of talk about that and just reflect on yours. Chat in now and just kind of think about it, right? Just like remember the name of that first client that you had. Maybe tag them, because maybe they don't even know that. Maybe share this article with them and share what we're kind of talking about today once it's all posted, and say like, hey, you were my first transaction. And explain to them how it happened and what happened, and like, give them that story. Maybe didn't tell it at the time, right? I remember Shana starting, and she had another agent that was just starting at the same time. And I think it was Shauna's one of her like top 2 or 3 buyer transactions, and she didn't even have like a super key at the time, and like we didn't know what we were doing, and this was like before the internet was really a thing, and we didn't know how to look stuff up and what to do. And this agent had her first listing, and Shauna has to go meet the person, like, how do we even get into the door, right? And then it ends up being an agent that's been around for a super long period of time, and that is start at the same time. And you know, hey, Judy Wright was one of Shauna's first transactions that she closed, and they were both newer agents. So you can reach out to either of them and ask them that story directly of kind of how it went. And they like, neither of them, you know, I've heard them talk about it. They're like, geez, we really had no idea what we were doing at the time, right? And it's funny how it goes from where you were to where you currently are. So I'm excited for you as an agent, right? So just think back through what that is. And then we're going to give some congratulations. So congratulations to Jean. Jean, with one of her first transactions going through recently, she actually had two in the same, I don't know if they were the same day they were executed, but definitively the same week. So congratulations to Jean on those two transactions. I look at them and I think through and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. So the values that you came out of the gate with, impressive. So huge accolades to you. Somebody knows you, likes you, and trusts you, and you were able to gain that. Big congratulations to the Friendship Division, to Amy Gasparini, and to Newport Home Builders for helping out and establishing that relationship for Jean. So we're very excited and proud that that channel of business is bringing in some things, right? So congratulations to everybody there. I'm super excited about it, and I'm glad and proud for you. I was talking to one of our, experienced agents just the other day. And as I was sitting there looking at the topic that we would talk about this morning, I kind of thought through that. And I had an agent that came to us that we've known for decades, right? Like it just seems like forever. Probably because she's really old. Actually, I think she's younger than me. I'm not even sure. So that would probably age me as well. But so I've known her for a long time, right? And it was probably decades before we started to do some business together. And the person's like, hey, I'm going to become an agent and I'm going to change careers. And when I heard this, I was like, yeah, she's going to be really good, right? And everybody has a different start to their career. So I was talking with this agent today, and yesterday, and we were having this conversation. It was a deep conversation. And we were talking about real estate, and she understood all the nuances and all these things. And I just kind of thought back, wow, this is an agent that's now totally experienced. That knows exactly what she's doing. That's talking through nuances of the business. That's discussing these things and asking questions, and they're extremely good, advanced questions. And we're having this conversation, and this person's, definitively an equal and a peer within the industry. And I was extremely proud to be talking with Jody about each one of these different items. So I definitively remember early on in your career when you're like, should I do this? And we only like to work with people that are great agents here at Acquisto Real Estate. And when it first came around that they were considering working, whomever that is, whatever agent it is that works with us, the first criteria we hire is we just try to talk with good people. We only want good people that really care. And whatever they do, it has to matter to them, right? So that's like one of the core things is caring, and it has to really matter. They'll put in the effort, the energy, and those things, and that will work out. But if you don't care and it doesn't matter, then ultimately you're not going to be successful. So that's the first trait that we look for. So anyone that works with us, that's extremely important to us, how much you care, right? So feel comfortable in any one of our agents that you have, whether you're having a new agent that has their first transaction or an experienced agent that's done lots of transactions but was new at one point. Congratulations to everybody on this Can't Stop, Won't Stop Wednesday. Extremely proud of all of you guys, whether you currently have one transaction in the works, 0 when you're trying for one, or you have 10 concurrent transactions that you currently have at all different stages and you're advanced in what you do. Whether you're a person like Stacy, our client coordinator, who has just transactions galore going on. The other day, I think she said we had 8 transactions that closed on the same exact day. So congratulations to Stacy for being able to manage 8 transactions simultaneously, all closing on the same day, right? That's advanced stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very proud of you. Congratulations on your first transaction. I hope you took this path down and enjoyed the journey of discussing your first transaction. Chat in now and tell us more about it. Share if you think there is somebody out there who should be going through their first transaction, who's totally capable of being an agent for the first time. And if they should work with us, then just let us know. Set up that meeting and we'd like to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That concludes us for today. We'll move on. Hello, let's talk about support family, the concierge services, and what we're going to be doing on today's workshop, right? Omkar, make sure you are good on where you're currently live there. Okay, perfect. And let's discuss support family, concierge program, and 10 o'clock today. So we're going to be discussing that on our weekly workshop. You guys can be logging in there in zoommeetingwithmike.com. I'll be hosting that. We'll have everybody on there. Last week we talked about a bunch of different things concierge service related that you have as agents have asked for. You kind of said it was important to you, so we jumped right on it and we said let's go ahead and do this. So I hope you're bringing some great ideas on things that would help you out, on ways that you can get repeat referral business, on ways you can stay in touch with, and how we as support could help you in this way. So we're going to kind of going over things that we can systematize, things that we can do better all together, in ways that we can use our power of many to go ahead and have a bigger impact to create more transactions for you. The whole idea that we're trying to create is more transactions for you as an agent where you make the most money possible. So we want to focus on your personal transactions and how we can continue to grow that. We're always here from the support, from the friendship division side to try to create additional transactions. But rather, the best possible business is to look for what's best for you. And that is creating additional transactions that come from repeat and referral business and work on getting more and more of that. That is your personally generated business. That's where you're going to absolutely make the most and be the most sustainable and the most successful. So we're going to put forth that effort to continue to accelerate what that happens to be for you as an agent. So come with some ideas today at 10 o'clock. Reflect on what we previously had went over last week on the agent workshops and how we can go ahead and execute on that for this week. So I'll see you guys today at 10 o'clock for that. And we're going to go ahead and close that topic out. Today's real estate word of the day is fixture. Fixture. I'm Mike Acquisto. Let's go ahead and define that word, use it in a sentence, and quickly discuss it. Within the real estate context, a fixture is personal property that becomes real property when it's attached in a permanent manner to real estate. Okay. All right. I don't even know what that means, right? If you think through it, you're like personal property, real property, attachment. What's going on here? All right. So if you do have a license in real estate, you'll understand that a fixture is something attached to the property, right? So we could kind of talk through what that might be. So like a light would be a really good example. A light fixture, as it's actually said, right? So that light is attached. An example of a light, of a fixture, might be you bought a chandelier. Maybe like my wife did in Venice, and she brings back a fancy chandelier and she takes down one and puts in another chandelier. That chandelier now becomes a fixture in the home. And if the home is sold and it is not specifically excluded, meaning, like, hey, we're not selling it with the property, we're going to change it, then it becomes part of the home as it's sold. So if you don't want that fixture to transact with the home, then maybe go ahead and change it out right now. And then if you do that and you change out the fixture, then no one will know it's even there, and it would not go with the home. You would simply move that ahead of time, and there would be no problems at all. That's the word fixture. Well, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you're able to struggle through and be here with just myself. Thank you guys for interacting. I saw some good interactions for us today, and I want to remind you about the 10 o'clock today. That's important that you all engage and are present. If you haven't watched last week's episode, then what the heck? We record it, we take the notes, we put everything there so you can, right? So please go ahead and do that. I will see you guys today at 10 o'clock. We did cover 3 topics today. The first one was a mentoring of the new agents. The second one was reflecting and remembering when. So go ahead and share that topic. That's a great one to share on a Can't Stop, Won't Stop Wednesday. Maybe you put it out next time on a TNT Tuesday as an item there. Think back through what you had going on and remember when. Okay, post that picture, share that out. When I got my license, the picture of you and your license when it first came in. Just kind of think through those days. And then support family. We have that meeting at 10 o'clock. We cover the real estate word of the day, and we are totally done. Let's go ahead and take some pictures and get us out of here. See you guys soon. All right, ready?
All right. Okay. First topic I've got is mentoring program for new agents.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. And now. Okay. Got it.
Gotcha.
Second topic. Remember when you did your first transaction. Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And now.
Okay.
And support family, concierge service.
Okay.
Topic.
Perfect.
Now. Fiction, word of the day. Okay. And now. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Let me hit the microphone here.